Earning your first $100,000 is often seen as a major milestone in personal finance and entrepreneurship. It represents going from ordinary income levels to having a degree of financial freedom and capital to invest. However, that initial $100,000 is usually the hardest money you'll ever make. In this video, I'll explain why that first major income leap presents so many challenges and requires tremendous effort, persistence and some luck. Getting started is tough. When you first set out to build an income stream, you're starting from zero, with no momentum, resources or scale behind you. You have to put in a huge amount of effort just to get the ball rolling and earn your first dollars. That initial traction takes way more work than later growth when your business or career is established. It requires pure hustle and likely multiple side jobs to cover your costs of living while slowly building. For example, a new YouTuber has to pour insane effort into their first 20 videos before the algorithm starts recommending their content. Or a new entrepreneur has to fully build their MVP product before making a single sale. Just getting to the starting line takes a massive push. Unproven skills and ideas. Not only do you lack momentum and customers, but early on your skills, ideas and execution are unproven. So you face a ton of uncertainty about whether you can even turn effort into incomes. For each attempt or project, you have to prove to yourself and others that you and your ideas have real merit before anyone will pay you. This often means repeatedly trying business ideas, jobs and side hustles that end up failing to generate income, causing tons of frustration. Proving your income potential takes ages. Financial pressures. Making your skills pay off is hard enough. But doing so while supporting yourself, paying rent and staying financially afloat requires a real balancing act. With little savings as a buffer, you face immediate pressure to earn just to get by each month. So if progress stalls for too long, you won't have the luxury of patience and pivoting. Instead, you'll be forced to find a short-term job and ditch your momentum. Balancing the urgent need for income with pursuing nascent projects is extremely tough. Psychology of poverty. Some research suggests that being broke itself reduces cognitive bandwidth through stress and creates a scarcity mindset. The day-to-day urgency of money weighs heavily on your focus and decision-making. So when you're struggling to pay bills, it's much harder to think long-term, stick to plans, learn complex skills and delayed reward handle setbacks. In short, getting from $0 to $100,000 income requires overcoming the self-reinforcing psychology of poverty at the same time. Lack of resources. With no spare income to invest into your efforts, bootstrapping progress requires creativity and hustle. As an early career professional or budding entrepreneur, you likely can't afford courses, software, equipment, office space or even basic things like website hosting and advertising. So making progress relies entirely on manpower, grit, and favors from mentors and friends. With more financial runway, rapid skills development and growth would be far easier. It's overcoming this catch-22 of, can't earn income without money, can't get money without income, that makes those first earnings such a challenge. No proof for loans. Not only is organic growth more difficult without resources, but funding from traditional lenders requires proof of income or assets to secure loans or credit. So the standard means of spending money to accelerate progress are off limits when you need them most at the start. Again, you're left haggling your way slowly up the first $100,000. For later income growth, capital becomes way easier to access. But the earliest funding almost entirely relies on personal sacrifice and bootstrapping. Unstable income. Even once you get the ball rolling, early income tends to be sporadic and vulnerable. When you lack an established reputation with recurring customers or projects, famine is always just one missed gig away. Juggling the feast and famine cycles of sales as an entrepreneur or contractor keeps life in permanent instability. Psychologically, not knowing whether the lights will be on next month despite your efforts compounds the anxiety and hardship of making it to $100,000 in earnings. Each new downturn feels like proof that you aren't cut out for this. Imposter syndrome. As struggles mount and you repeatedly face setbacks, It's extremely common to internalize failures as proof that you don't have what it takes, also known as imposter syndrome. It takes immense resilience and belief during setbacks to override that self-doubt and stick it out long enough to find earnings success. But questioning whether you deserve to be doing this in moments of despair can sabotage progress at any point. Battling those emotional and irrational doubts makes it 10x harder to plow through the legitimate external obstacles. No safety net. Finally, unlike a salaried job, when you're working towards unpredictable self-employment income or sales commissions, you lack an organizational safety net like health insurance, unemployment protection, or retirement benefits. So you carry maximal personal risk chasing your first $100,000. Things like illness or sudden changes in market demand can instantly nullify a year's work. With nobody else sharing that failure risk, it takes boldness bordering on over-optimism to make the leap, and grit to face the episodes of freefall along the journey. Closing. In the end, overcoming all these challenges in the earliest days of your income journey forge an invaluable resilience and confidence. But ultimately these factors, financial, psychological and circumstantial, combine to make your first major income milestones the hardest you'll likely ever achieve. The steep learning curve and lack of momentum required to break into moderate earnings is what sets high achievers apart from the rest. If you can persist through the hardest phase, each increment gets easier and compounds faster from there. So take pride in your efforts thus far, even if you still have a ways to go to hit that first $100,000. The path is rarely linear. But reflect on how far you've already come given the obstacles in your path. And leverage every resource and ally available to push through this roughest stretch. Consistent action builds compound interest over time.